Grisha, of course, everybody followed mass protests last week. They were really unprecedented. But we know about the detention in Moscow and probably other cities today. What we should know about the demonstration in Russia today and the detention and the whole situation?
It's 56 people have been detained, and it's 3 different events, so it's not organized protests. One of them is against torture, and 2 others is the reaction on last Sunday. So not a lot of detentions, and it's good news.
What is usually happening to these people? Because, and especially, what happened to those people who had been detained earlier? You know, how long usually are they staying in the police, and what would happen next with them?
There's some of them still staying, because there are two ways. They can be arrested up to 25 days, and it's around 60-70 people have been arrested, and they will sit for more 2 weeks maybe. It's including Alexei Navalny and mostly 10 people from his organization, from his foundation, and others. And mostly people haven't been arrested. They've spent from 5 to 12 hours in police departments, and or maybe 1 or 2 days. The maximum is 2 days. And for now, they're waiting for court hearings, and the result for them will be penalty around from 10 to 20 thousands of rubles. I don't know. For example, I think that it's 300 euros, something like that. And it will be hundreds and hundreds of court hearings next 3 weeks in Moscow, and it's what we are thinking about right now, how to help these people, because it's quite a penalty. So we are mostly thinking about legal assistance to these people.
But can you also put it all in context? Because during the last years, there were different kind of, there were not that many protests. They were, of course, but not of this scale. And these are really like a short-term stay in the police, then the court hearings. How we can explain the logic of the Russian law enforcement in this? You know, what is a general policy?
It's a very important question, because you should understand that there is no common policy. They do react it's tactics. They do react in very different ways in different situations and in different political moments. And for now, it was a peaceful event on Tverskaya Street, but they've made this decision to detain people and detain a lot of people, including children. I think because they've been surprised by how many people have go to this event without sanctions, because it was totally legal event, but it was not sanctioned by local authorities. It was around 15,000 of people there, and they've been surprised, and they've made this decision to detain people, because it's not so easy for people to be detained, and it's quite scaring. Some of them are still in prisons, in small police prisons. It's not real prisons, but still for 2 or 3 weeks. And what is also important, that these events, these anti-corruption events, have taking place not only in Moscow and St. Petersburg, but it was hundreds of events in different cities. And for now, what's going on in Russia, that police and others law enforcement institutions are starting to press on those who have been on streets. They are asking them to take them from schools and from universities to talk, and it's kind of political pressure. And what is important, that it's going on right now every day in every city. So it's a very, very massive on this protest right now.
Grisha, there was the big story which was taken by media that there were a lot of school kids, these pupils, during this particular protest. Were they also detained? What's happening to them? Because, you know, some of them are won't be considered, you know, adult enough. Or so how are they treated?
Yeah. You know, the protest for this time, protest events were very young. It was not only school boys, but also students from, I don't know, I think they're from 16 to 21, something like that. And you can see it on videos on YouTube. But by detentions, in Moscow, it was around 70 people. So it's 5-6% of the whole amount of detained people. And with those who are younger than 18, they're free now because they can't even be arrested by Russian legislation. So they've spent a couple of hours, maybe 5 hours in police departments waiting for parents. But for now, all of them are very scaring because there can be something bad with them now in schools and etc.
We also followed that there was a protest of the truck drivers. As well, some of them were stopped. So what can you elaborate more on that?
It's the same time. It started on Monday. In the whole, I don't know how to say it in English. So it's the whole country, all drug drivers in the country, they're protesting against the situation that they should pay for now to use our national roads. So they don't like it, and it's very huge protest. It started not yesterday, it started around 1 year ago, and it's very social protest, which is very fast to going to political issues too. And for now they are facing this real also what we call political repression, because they're also many of them are detained, some of them are arrested, and there are a lot of soldiers who are staying near to these trucks. So it's also very important part of what's going on now, and they're also facing this huge repression.
Grisha, thanks a lot for explaining that for us, as we would follow also the court cases. And it was Grigory Okhotin, who is representing OVD-Info. It's an online monitoring project to keep track on arrest and detainment during the protests in Russia. And I would also encourage you to go to our webpage. There you can see more analytical articles, also in particular of this particular demonstration in Russia, and also how the youth is participating in it.